Celtic were back in action last night, where unfortunately we lost 4-2 to Aston Villa at Villa Park. Thankfully, we had already qualified for the next round of the competition, so the biggest blow to us following that result is that we won't receive any extra money from winning another game. In today's video, we'll discuss the fallout from that match while going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Former Celtic striker Chris Sutton has reacted to the Hoops 4-2 defeat against Aston Villa tonight in the Champions League, with Brendan Rodgers' potential opponents in the knockout playoffs revealed. Celtic ultimately finished the league phase in 21st place, with the Hoops set to face either Real Madrid or Bayern Munich on February 11th or 12th at Celtic Park. The draw is set to take place on Friday at 11 a.m, with Sutton reflecting on what was a hard-fought game from Celtic, having gone 2-0 down after just 4 minutes. It looked to be yet another European away performance to forget. Instead, it was a night where Celtic did Scotland proud in Europe, with Adam Ida's brace in particular the real highlight. He said, "Well played Aston Villa, Morgan Rogers unplayable at times, what a player he is, loved Celtic's comeback and this Champions League campaign, a sign of progress and maturity. Just Real Madrid or Bayern Munich up next. Celtic did lose the game in the end, but there are positives to build on. Add Cameron Carter-Vickers and Dyson Maeda to the starting 11, along with Jota, the potential arrival of Kieran Tierney and a new striker, and you have a side that may not make it out of the knockout playoffs, but certainly won't go down without a fight. Morgan Rogers was a standout for Villa, however, Kasper Schmeichel certainly showed why most still consider him to be a world-class goalkeeper. He has played a huge role in Celtic reaching the knockout playoffs, and tonight was no different. His ability to stop goals is something the Hoops have lacked over the last decade. With a new Celtic contract signed until the summer of 2026, Schmeichel is set to have another year at the club. His attitude of never giving up, even when a goal seems certain, shows the confidence he brings to the Hoops' back four. They don't always cover themselves in glory, but they know the Dane can often bail them out. Now for the main story, as Celtic winger Luis Palma's Hoops future has looked in doubt all month, with a move to La Liga side Rayo Vallecano hindered due to the Spanish side suffering a temporary transfer ban by FIFA. The Honduran international has a host of clubs across Europe interested, however, one team appears set to win the race. Palma did come off the bench last night for Celtic against Aston Villa in the Champions League, playing the final 17 minutes of the game. However, the 4-2 defeat against Unai Emery's side may be his last appearance for the Hoops. Current Europa Conference League winners Olympiacos are reportedly set to sign Palma, with journalist Giannis Kourianopoulos reporting on X. Olympiacos are really close to signing Luis Palma from Celtic. Palma was set to join Vallecano on loan with an option to make the move permanent for £2.1 million. Whether a similar deal is agreed between Celtic and Olympiacos remains to be seen. However, with Jota rejoining on Monday, it appeared the Portuguese winger's return to Glasgow signified the end for Palma, with Jota more of a replacement for the Honduran than Kyogo. Despite some of the belief that Jota would instead replace the Japanese forward, he will leave Celtic with everyone's best wishes if he does depart this month. Despite failing to replace Jota during his 18 months in Glasgow, there is clearly a player in there, and a move away from the Hoops will likely benefit both parties. With Olympiacos, Palma looks to have a great opportunity to rebuild his career, with the move to Celtic, in all honesty, probably coming too soon for him. In other news, Brendan Rodgers has defended Scottish football after the Celtic boss was told that England is looking down on the game north of the border. The Celtic manager has had the privilege of managing in both England and Scotland, with spells at Liverpool, Leicester and Swansea. Now, in his second spell at Celtic Park, Rodgers has successfully negotiated the Parkhead club out of the Champions League group stage and is also preparing the boys to face Aston Villa. After being informed of the attitude down south towards Scottish football, Rodgers delivered a class Celtic answer to the assembled journalists in the pre-match Villa press conference. Rodgers said on Celtic TV, "Listen, I think that the Premier League is the most competitive league in the world. It's where lots of top players are, lots of top managers are, but it's not the only league in the world. You know, there were options for me to stay in the Premier League. My choice was to go to Scotland, to Celtic, and I'm so happy that I did." The Celtic boss was not done there. Whilst appreciating the quality the EPL has, Rodgers says that managing Celtic is unrivaled compared to many clubs in the English top flight. Okay, the competition might not be the same as what it is in the Premier League, continued Rodgers, but there are not many teams in the Premier League that rival the pressure that comes with managing a Celtic or Rangers for that matter. But there's always an opportunity, whether you're playing in England or playing in Italy or France, wherever you're playing. It's always an opportunity for you to show your qualities as a team and as a club. Lastly, Celtic tasted defeat after bravely battling against Aston Villa in the Champions League. The boys battled back against an Aston Villa side who took a shock 2-0 lead in the first 5 minutes of Celtic's final Champions League group game of the season. Adam Idah was Celtic's man of the moment after the Irishman netted a quick-fire double to send Hoops boss Brendan Rodgers into the dressing room at half-time with something to protect. However, Aston Villa's class shone through as 2 second-half goals wrapped up the win to send Celtic back to Glasgow with just their second defeat of the campaign, but with pride after giving the Premier League side a fright. And reacting to the result, Brendan Rodgers admitted he was proud of his players and the squad for digging deep when things looked bleak to come back from an early shock. It was a brilliant game. The word that strikes me at the moment is pride, Rodgers said. We're coming to a team that in the last couple years have been at the highest level in the Premier League, and you've seen them in Europe. We played with so much courage and actually started well. We played with authority and comfort on the ball, but then within a few minutes they get the first and a quick second goal. Then there's a question asked of you as a team, your spirit, mentality, character, everything about you at this level, but the players continued to play and we started getting contention because the first 10 minutes rocked us a wee bit. Once we started to get our aggression back in the game and our contact in pressing, then that gave us the opportunity. We scored 2 very good goals and we took the game to injury time with it in the balance, which was a great effort by the players. We played a big part in a really good game. Rodgers was later in his press conference asked about how he feels Celtic have competed with Europe's elite during the newly revamped league phase, and the Irishman pointed to big results and performances his side have put in. He also previewed what will be a brutally difficult knockout playoff. I think we've shown, apart from the Dortmund game where we were well beaten on the night, but we learned from that, the manager added. We've gone away to Atalanta and kept a clean sheet, come here tonight and we're in the game. We know it's either Real Madrid or Bayern Munich in the next round, which will be a huge challenge at this level, but we're building confidence and showing we're a team that can play, work well, and make it difficult for the top teams. Clearly, it's a great reward for the work the club and team have done. Whoever we play, they're clearly top-level teams. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. That does bring us to the end of today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you.